Grant Denyer now.
It's Grant Denyer.
The gold logie this year. Oh my God, it's Grant Denyer.
And our mum, Chezzi Denyer. She's really crazy.
It's all true.
It's All True, the podcast with Grant and Chezzi Denyer.
Thanks, Uncle Dan.
Woohoo!
Dan the man.
Dan the man. I was listening to our podcast the other day and I realised that we always have the longest intros. Like we always talk about our intros for a really long time.
Do we? Like we? Is this a collective that you're grouping us two radio esteemed professionals into?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, it's me. Yeah.
But also, we don't want to give away our secret that we pretty much have half the episode as an intro and then the rest is left to content.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, see, when we make, when you to be successful in the podcast world, you have to knock them out. And there's only so much content that you can mine from your own life. So Chezzi's actually doing a massive favour by burning up half the episode just with her intro, which leaves us more material, for further episodes. So that's a great strategy.
We actually recorded all 5 seasons in 1 week.
Yeah.
No, see, we can't all be the same. Why would you want us to be all the same? It'd all sound the same. It's good to have a variety of styles and opinions and diversity of, sexes and abilities and interests.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking maybe we could start with like a motivational quote.
I like that. Love a bit of motivation.
God, I just nearly vomited on my microphone. Are we serious?
No, I was thinking of I don't know, like
people
trying something
to
different.
Because we're bloody, what's that motivational dude's name? Like we're not
Tony Robbins.
We're not Tony. We're not a Tony Robbins podcast, are we?
I know. Well, I was trying to think of a quirky way to start it. Instead of going, "Hey, hipsters."
What have you got? No. Well, you just got. How do you answer the phone normally?
Well, it depends who it is.
Because it's pretty much all we're having, a little casual conversation just with our friends. So how do you normally answer the phone?
No, I think it's me who sounds awkward.
What up, bitches?
Hey,
what about the rhyme? Season 5, episode 4. Oh, my gosh, we're back for more.
Whoa.
Oh, that's pretty good, except it's season 5. So we're still alive. Yeah, but that can only be used once. Well, I was thinking about...
What do we sound like?
Not that.
That was a piece of audio that Chezzi
was not supposed to be put up.
Accidentally played.
I was thinking about starting with this. Now I can't find it. This person commented, and I looked up.
Believe in you will achieve.
No.
Like how cheesy are we wanting to get here?
Now I can't find it. This has gone really well. It was something about like the fastest way to
this is classic
to fuck
Chezzi.
Up your future life is to dwell on the past.
Oh, you posted that on the gram.
I
saw that on your story the other day. That was good.
Yeah. Well, only because that person said that they loved horse lips, so that's why I was thinking. Now I can't find it, but anyway,
I'll find it for you.
That was
I'll
a really
find
great
the thing
start.
That you posted on your own socials.
Yeah.
The surest way to fuck up your future is to continue living in the past.
Yeah. Don't jump back in the future. Keep going forward.
Was the right sound effect for it? No.
Any of those?
Maybe none of those.
The joke one sort of when I do this, that might take sort of the strength out of what you're saying. So I kind of don't. I don't have a sound effect to justify
how boring that was.
No, it wasn't boring. It was good fun.
It's got a swear word in it. I thought that might be a bit cool for you guys, seeing as you guys are so cool.
Totally sick.
Now I'm worried about how this whole episode is going to play out. So the last few seasons we've been playing the get to know game. We need to do a bit more on George, but we did the one on Grant. And everybody loved it.
And we had your mum on as well.
We had your mum. We love Lisa.
So that means there's only one of us left.
Yeah.
Who could that be in a trio?
Yeah, so that's me.
I'm so excited for today's episode, just quietly.
I don't know why. I'm feeling really nervous now. So I'm
It's good you should see who we've dug up. Yep, your first boyfriend.
What? You have not. You don't even know who that is.
Nah.
I
I
don't
don't
even
think
know.
I want to know either.
I had so
Be
many.
some dude at a B&S somewhere.
No, it was. I had so many in primary school that I can't
Some
remember
shameful
them all.
act in the back of a ute or something.
Oh.
Well, I'm taking a punt. Isn't that how all country girls live?
Wouldn't you be embarrassed if there actually was?
Wow, that'd be amazing. That'd be.
Imagine if this
That's
was.
actually a very cool story.
There's not. But anyway, just
okay.
pretend. Righto.
All right, so
I'm not happy, but
I think the only way to go about this is to possibly go to the closest source. The closest source who's been there through thick and thin. The closest source who's been there from an early age. The closest source who was probably at that B&S that I made up earlier.
she was actually.
Oh, there's a trick to this story.
She was actually. Do not ask her about that B&S.
Well, for wanting to incriminate, whoever it was that might have been there, whoever that boy was it?
No, I'm not
Tom
saying
Williams?
there was no. What? No, I'm not saying there was a boy, but don't ask her about that B&S. She won't remember.
Okay. Because it was a B&S. No one remembers a B&S.
Yes.
Oh, the Bundy made me do it.
You could ask her about the drive home the next day because I had to drive for it, if it's who I think it is.
This is
Yeah.
none other than your best friend, Lisa. Lisa, the Moondog Mooney. Don't know if I'm supposed to use her whole name.
Oh,
Hello.
Hello, Moondog. Come on in. Hello. Welcome to the safe space that is the It's All True podcast, where we get to know
Hi.
all of our people. Great to have you on board.
Thanks for having me, guys. How are we?
that was a bit formal, Grant.
Yeah, well, you don't know
Very.
what we're going to unearth at the moment.
Oh, God.
So, just to remind you, Lisa, you're her best friend. Today, the role of best friend is being played by Lisa Mooney, of which we want you to just kind of let us know and let the listeners know who she really is, mate. Who's the person behind that delicious honey-like voice?
My heart is beating through my neck
I was
right
gonna
now.
say, how long have we got, guys?
All right, let's start this way. I'll say 2 words, and then you say whatever comes to mind.
Don't say B&S.
Cheryl. Apparently, we need to get to a B&S story. at
No,
some
we
point.
don't need to get to a B&S story.
Passed out.
Well,
Yeah, I don't know.
You knew her first as, here are the 2 words, Cheryl Rogers. Go.
Takes me back. Maniac. Hectic maniac.
Hectic mania. Yeah, I'll
No,
own
you
that.
don't need to use 2 words. My 2 words were Cheryl Rogers. You can use whatever
Oh.
Mine's more.
take as
Okay,
many as you
sorry.
like.
Oh.
I thought I had to wrap it up into 2, and I think that was pretty fitting.
Yeah.
Hectic maniac. Yeah.
I like it.
I think she's the most lovable hectic maniac you could ever find, but a hectic maniac all the same. So, yes, Cheryl has, I don't know, Cheryl's got me into a lot of trouble over the years, but we've had a lot of fun.
We have had a lot of
I've
fun.
had a lot of my firsts with Cheryl.
Ooh.
Not all my firsts, but yeah.
Oh,
hang on a
Like the
second.
best.
Hang on a
No,
second.
not the
In what
first.
aspect?
No, just like wild, definitely. I would not have got up to half the things that I did if it wasn't for Cheryl Rogers.
Oh, my
So
God.
she's
Now
sort
your
of-
mum's
I
going to be
know.
listening to this and she's not
I
going to be
know,
happy.
So, like,
She's not.
what kind of firsts, Lisa?
Well, Grant, you know me well enough. I'm not a very good country girl. I want to be better at the country, but I'm not. And Cheryl did drag me out in the middle of, a mouse-filled field to our first CNS. And, I think within about 10 minutes I'd lost her. And the next thing I saw her in a dryser bone, she came tackling me. And I think we went sliding in the mud for about 10 metres. And that was really early in the night. So it got worse from there.
Yeah, that is pretty true. I do remember that,
Yeah.
wearing my dad's dryser bone. And it was raining.
But, oh, my God.
Yeah.
So, you're saying she's the life of the party?
Always. Every single party.
Yep.
Without fail, actually.
What is it in her, do you think, that just... If the party's, say, running it if it's, say, the party is at a level of between 1 and 10, if the party is a 7, why does she always take it to 11? Like, what?
I was going to say, it always gets to 11 or 12. I don't know, but it always does. There's a little thing inside of it that says, we can make this a bit better. But she does. You know what, Grant? You would know. It doesn't matter where you go to. If it's with old people or young people or, she's always got this aura about her, this magnetism that everyone loves. And, yes, she ends up creating it. I don't know. Again, it turns hectic.
Unless you...
In a lovable way.
Unless it's New Year's Eve and I drink far too much in my younger years and then I pass out right before the fireworks.
And spew under your pillow. Pop the pillow back down. And
Okay, I was very young then.
That was your
look,
apartment,
I think
Lisa.
Grant and I, my apartment. I think Grant and I might have carried you, didn't we, Grant? Head to toe from the bathroom into the bed.
Yeah. Yep.
I got a bit excited that night. That doesn't happen anymore, though, now that I'm a mum.
It was not. What about parent-teacher night? Well, not parent-teacher night, but just when we got together with the other parents from
that
the
mum
school.
had never had tequila shots, so I had to help her out, help a friend out,
We did carry you back to your bed that night, and we went to check on you a little later on. I think Lisa and I were just were the only ones left who were arm in arm looking at the fireworks going,
I think I think we were just helping ourselves into other people's parties, Grant. Like we were literally, any door that was open, we'd kind of like rock on into the music, pretending we were part of it.
That's right.
Then when we came back down to check on Chez, make sure she was okay, she had spewed under a pillow. But not only that, she'd opened the window, spewed out the window, but there was a fly screen on the window. So it was all just jammed into your fly screen.
It was terrible.
Oh,
that's when we lived right on the harbour and literally there was chunks all down the screen.
Yeah. Okay.
What was she like at school?
Yeah, fairly hectic as well. She was always great
really
fun.
Studious.
No, she was never studious. You know what? I remember actually being at the back of a science class. We weren't in every class together, were we? But we'd always say, I'll meet you in science. And we used to measure the whites of our fingernails, which is really sad.
We used to do our nails, yes. And then when it got a bit hectic, I'd turn the gas taps on, just a quiet leak so everyone would be evacuated.
What the hell?
Yeah.
You could have killed everybody.
Didn't know that back then. Thanks, Grant. I just knew that was how we got out of class.
Imagine if they had to pick that up. You would have gassed everyone. Everyone would have just slowly gone to sleep and would never have woken up.
I don't know if that's how it works. It's the smell is so
it's that
pungent.
egg smell.
You
That's
go,
right.
oh,
they get you out.
I think there's a leak, and they're like, right, everybody out. And I don't know why they fell for that.
Do you know that
week in, week out.
They put that smell in there artificially because of people like you? So gas doesn't normally have a smell, but they actually, they put that eggy, horrible smell in there so you can tell when there's a leak or tell
the little shit
exactly.
in science class.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't.
That's true.
I feel like there's two types of Chezzi. I know you're calling me Cheryl, but that is usually when I get into trouble.
It is.
I feel like there's the pre-baby Cheryl and the post-baby Cheryl. Like I feel like I'm not the gas turner on anymore. I've become the sensible party.
I think there was two kinds of you prior to even having children. I think there's party Chez and then there's kind Chez, and they're very different mindsets. They're
I agree
Jekyll
with
and
that.
Hyde, but not in a bad way.
Oh,
100%.
that sounds like
You've
bipolar.
got the biggest heart I've ever met on anybody in my life, and you are constantly thinking of everybody else, and you're so generous and kind. But then you just have a little hectic lapse here and there, which is the fun Chez comes back out.
Hectic lapse. Could that be like, when I was thinking of you and I tried to entertain you, before you got married and you were stressed and I was the maid of honour, so
you ended up in the hospital.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's right.
That kind of hectic?
Yeah. Remember we were dancing in the backyard and honestly, I think it was only still 6 p.m. and we were dancing and the next thing you're at emergency.
Yeah, you were dancing to bloody
Michael Bublé.
The slowest shit you can find. Like it was like, let's rock out to Metallica or it's Pearl Jam. It was Michael Bublé and you broke your ankle.
We had a couple of bottles of wine and we're trying to come up with wedding songs.
Yeah. See, that was very thoughtful of me.
What about the night before we went to Bali and we were so sick we could hardly even get on the plane?
Yes. Okay, so that was post-babies. So, we've spent our 30ths together overseas.
Yep. Kuala Lumpur.
Yep. Grant flew you over for that. And then our
Amazing.
40th overseas in Bali. And yes, before we left, we got a little bit excited because we didn't have kids for a week. And
Everyone gets excited the night before they go on holiday.
They do.
Like it's
Oh, it was so good.
it was.
It was great.
It was great. It was a really
It was
I'm glad
it was
someone
a good
though
start to the holiday.
had the composure to be able to remember everyone's phones, passports, luggage, everything. And that was me.
But again, the kind Chezzi kicked in,
Yep.
and then she made sure we all got there.
Yep.
Did I? I just remember saying to
No, you
everybody
were
on the
great.
bus, remember there was no snacks at the hotel, and if I have a few drinks, I like to eat a lot.
I think you made the kitchen
do you remember we'd had about $300 worth of Brussels sprouts?
Yes, that's what I was going to say, about 47 bowls of Brussels sprouts with bacon, which was a really random snack, but that's all they could give us. And then the next day on the bus,
Oh my
remember,
God, the next that poor plane.
It wasn't good.
I had a really terrible tummy ache, and it was like really embarrassing.
We were
but,
literally flying to Bali in a tube of farts, a tube of farts with wings.
Don't say that, but it wasn't easy. But yes,
Oh,
I do
that
remember
little
that.
van.
Too.
It was so hot too. That little, it's terrible.
Who serves Brussels sprouts? Honestly,
Lisa, there's moments in Chezzi's life where she's gone above and beyond for others. You know, I've seen it. You know, when I broke my back and she took great care of me, and our relationship was only new. But there are things like, when the drought was on, she rallied around for so many farmers to find hay, to keep their animals alive, water. She was providing food to farmers who couldn't even afford their own. Like, she does have a heart of gold.
oh, that's nice.
Huge heart, Farlat size heart.
Oh, thanks. He's
She's
dead.
incredible. Living Farlat. No, you know what, Grant? She's incredible. And I don't think there's anybody in the whole world that could argue it. Every single day that I talk to her, she's on a new mission for somebody else to help them, whether it's to get them to Sydney or you guys are emceeing a ball this weekend, for cancer. She's just, she's everywhere for everybody. And, I'm really, really lucky to have her as a best friend. I'm so lucky, actually. It's incredible.
We're also lucky she's still alive. Because let's just go back to your apartment that you had, that little tiny apartment. It was an oldish apartment.
This is like a really bad This Is Your Life.
It was 9 stories up. Well, it nearly was. This was nearly the end of your life. It was 9 stories up your apartment. We'd locked ourselves out on another boozy New Year's Eve or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way we tried to smash the door in. We couldn't. That didn't work. So Chez had this grand plan. Do you remember the grand plan?
Oh, don't. It actually, to be honest, guys, it gives me chills even thinking that we were so stupid. But, we decided to climb back into the apartment via the front veranda, which looked over the harbour, via the neighbour that lived, was it upstairs and across? Yeah.
Yep.
So her plan was to descend from the apartment above on the outside of the balcony, on the outside of the building. So she's standing on the outside on the balcony, right? She's sliding down. She's climbed over the rail, right? 9 stories up. Nothing but like cement down below. Instant death if she falls. She slides down the railing till she can't slide any further, and then sort of her feet are dangling in the air. And she goes, the only way for me to get now on the balcony below is to get a swing up. So she's sort of swinging her legs. 1, 2, 3. Let's go at the right time. Just lands on the railing below. Could have fallen back.
Oh, my God.
Just falls
You know what?
in.
I've never been prouder of anyone in my life.
And I have to say,
You promote this.
yeah, so on the night, look, I feel really sick about it too. And if one of my kids did it, I would literally skin them alive.
I nearly ended our relationship there and then. I thought, this chick is nuts. This is too high risk.
Yeah.
I can't be like with someone who has this little regard for her own safety.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I was like, Cheryl, you're mad. I was like, go, Cheryl. Go, Jess. You can do this.
Yeah.
And I was so proud. I was like, woohoo, we're in.
I remember you said to me, you are my best friend for life. That was awesome.
That's all it took. Yeah, no, look, I'm lucky that neither of us are dead. There's been, I'd say, quite a number of
I know.
times where we've
we have
pushed the boundary. But
she's made of very special stuff, though, isn't she, Lisa?
The most special stuff. I honestly couldn't be more grateful to have her in my life, and I'm so lucky that she's been in my life for so long.
Oh, that's so nice. See,
you're very special. You're special to everybody.
No, thank you.
We only live in a one-story building now as a result. That's all I will allow.
Oh, my gosh. I was just thinking the other day how that Jekyll and Hyde side came out of me, and I have to apologise to somebody at a teppanyaki restaurant that Lisa and I went to about 22 years ago, and I ate a prawn, and now I know I'm allergic to prawns. My face blew up and I became the crazy Chezzi, and I remember spitting my red drink out between the whole
the gap in the front teeth.
Yeah, and
but you know what? Looking back, it was terrible. But it is quite a skill that you've got to do that. I don't think that everyone would be able to do that.
Mate, the accuracy and the distance you could get from
It's
spraying
incredible.
alcoholic liquid, and usually red alcoholic liquid, because it'd be like a vodka and raspberry.
Yeah.
Across the room was insane.
It was.
Yeah. I think you were picking out people saying, right, ready, watch this. And you'd do like a little spit and it'd get them in the side of the face or the head. And we were, it was hilarious.
We're talking like,
Oh my God.
we're talking meters. We're talking like 5 meters. Like the thing was, it was like a super
across
soaker.
the other side of the room. It was great.
Thank God I can't do it anymore since I had braces when I was pregnant with Scout, because, that skill, it's not going to win me any awards.
But she does win a lot of people over. I remember being in a similar situation, Lisa. It was a restaurant setting. It was a Greek restaurant. No, was it a Greek restaurant? No. Yes, it was a Greek restaurant. And the guy came out to play the violin. And he would
Russian restaurant.
It was a Russian restaurant, was it?
Russian.
And the guy was going around playing the violin, sort of just goes right up to them in their face and gives them a couple of nice notes and has a little smile and moves on to the next person. Chezzi can sometimes be a little awkward if she doesn't quite know what to do if she's excited or nervous. And so old mate comes over to her and starts giving a bit of violin in the face, and I don't know what she did or what kind of look she gave him, but old mate's bow shot out of his hand, went across the room and hit someone in the face. Like,
I just smiled at him. Like, I did like a big smile because, I've never heard anybody describe
Did
it
he
like
get
that.
so nervous?
But I was awkward.
he was about 70. He was playing a tremendous fiddle.
But nobody else was looking at him, and then he came up and I felt sorry for him, and so I gave him a really big beaming, I don't know.
Like an overcompensatory sort of beam a little bit. And he was so taken aback he lost control of his bow.
I told you, she's got a magic about her.
I don't know if that was magic, but I was sitting on my hands so I didn't get too boisterous, because that's the other thing that people don't realise about me is that I can get a little bit boisterous.
Which reminds me then, Lisa, does it now looking back on her life, she was obviously very ADHD.
I honestly cannot believe it took till the 40s for any of us to even bring that up. Like, I'm actually floored that we didn't have her down for testing years ago, like 20 years ago.
I just don't think
it
they
makes
knew.
so much sense.
I know, because I remember you used to say to me if we were going somewhere with people that we didn't know, you were like, Chez, you cannot wrestle these girls. We went somewhere.
See, now that you look back, I've been the responsible one.
Yes, I know.
Over all this time.
And here I was thinking it was me.
Lisa, when you look at your friendship...
Sorry.
Lisa, when you look at your friendship with Chezzi, what's the one takeaway? What's the one big lesson you've learned from being friends with her?
God, there's a lot, George. Don't worry.
Don't drink tequila.
Yeah, pretty much. No, you know what? She has, if I'm being really, really honest, Cheryl has taught me. I'm definitely not as boisterous as Cheryl, and Cheryl has taught me not to care so much about what other people think. And I think that's such I don't know, it's so inspirational as a friend and as a person that Cheryl can be so confident in her own self. And I think, I take that away from her. I think that, she's incredible. she's very strong and she's incredible.
I admire her confidence.
Yes, same.
I wish I had the confidence that she has in herself. Like I'm almost jealous of it. My mind is a little noisier and a bit more negative than hers, and she's always just living in this world of sunshine, which sometimes can be a bit annoying if things are going wrong. But I wish I could just have her headspace.
That's so funny that you guys say that, because I wouldn't look at myself. I'd look at myself and say I'm chaotic, clumsy, like I'd trip over air. Don't know.
There was a time that you backed into the only pole in the paddock. Yeah.
I do. Every day I make so many stupid mistakes, and but I feel that deep down I know that I'm good at heart. So
you are good at heart.
There you go,
I agree.
you two. You need to be better at heart.
It's a great headspace to be in. Yeah.
All right. Well,
thanks so much, Lisa. That was gorgeous. That was fun reminiscing.
Thanks for ringing me, guys. I love it.
Well, appreciate it. Thank you so much. We love you.
Oh, thanks for calling.
Bye.
Thanks, Lisa.
Bye.
She is right though. When we took you down to be assessed for ADHD, and the questionnaire said, "Are you prone to impulsive activity?" I was like, "Why did we just realise it then? How does 9 stories up on the outside of a building? Like you're not friggin' Spider-Man, but that night you were."
Yeah, I know. I don't know. But you talk to everybody who's known me since I was a kid, and they're like, "You should have been the poster child for kids with ADHD." But I just always got overlooked. I think because I wasn't necessarily naughty.
Yeah.
I was really sweet, but anyway.
Sweet but psycho, as the song goes.
Sweet but
And
psycho.
Chezzi, Lisa was like your best friend, but how many did you have a friendship group when you were growing up?
Yeah, I did actually.
Pretty tight, or?
We had a lot. I was friends with everybody.
Yeah, Chezzi's very good at
Floating around.
going between groups. Like she would, I think she feels so much for everyone that she can easily transition, from the cool kids to the nerds to the outcasts.
I just genuinely like people. So, yeah. Don't know.
That's a good sign of your personality. Very different though. Is her sister. Like you can't get probably 2 more diametrically opposed personality types, which I assume that's just a common thing within families, would it be? Or
I don't know.
No, I don't know. You guys are pretty different, but why don't we ask your sister?
Oh my God.
This is Linda. Let's give her a call.
She's going to be really nervous because we are polar opposites. She's very different to me. She's like,
I'll go.
Hello.
Hello, Linda, is it? I'm just wondering, are you happy with your current gas provider?
Very funny.
you should, Grant. Oh, my God.
Those bloody telemarketers. You're on the...
I've already had them knocking on the door all day today. I'm like, go away. I'm trying to work.
Oh, good. My plan's coming to fruition. You're on the podcast. We're live. You're being recorded. So everything that you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
I don't believe any of that.
Fantastic.
We've just spoken to Lisa, and Lisa's just painted a very wild picture of what I was like before kids.
I'd almost forgotten how wild she was.
Actually, so would I. So now I'm hoping that you can redeem me a little, Linny.
So what's your version of who Cheryl is?
Look, honestly, I've probably erased a lot from my memory, and that's probably an indication into how wild. No, honestly, I think Cheryl, she's the golden-haired child in our family, and she always has been. I think when she was, younger, we're very opposite as well. So I guess growing up, I've got memories of Cheryl just being really, really feminine. She was always really feminine, confident. She could talk her way out of anything, really. I think I was the annoying younger sibling who always got in trouble for everything. I guess, I don't know, my memories of Cheryl are, I guess, in primary school when she had a love of reptiles. I don't know if she's gone into that before.
Oh,
have you?
I don't know if I have.
Really? No, go. You go.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, interesting. She used to have a snake in her bedroom called Chezzi, and she always had a lizard or something, and she was always parading around the neighbourhood. And I guess my friends were horrified because every time they came over and we went to get an ice block out of the freezer, we had to dodge all the baby mice and sparrows and
the frozen
yeah, it was
rats.
really gross. Yeah, it was gross.
Oh, to feed the snake, of course.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh my God, that would have been really, I remember.
So you're trying to bring boyfriends over and, and work your magic, and there's this freaky deaky snake in the house, and you don't even feel safe to go to your own fridge.
Oh, I was a bit younger then. Cheryl was probably impressing the boys with her reptiles. I think she I don't know.
I don't know if anyone was impressed with my reptiles, but I do remember, always having. I remember actually we came home one night and my lizards had got out, and they were in front of the heater, and everyone was screaming at me, and I was trying to catch them, and I've never really thought about the impact that might have had on you. And I'm sorry. Oh,
I just used to think it was gross, but it was so strange because you were so such a feminine girl, and I was a real tomboy. And then you had this strange love of cricket. You're obsessed with Shane Warne for a really long time. It was so strange.
I was, and we spoke about that.
Like a proper obsession?
Oh, proper. We couldn't go anywhere without this portable TV because she couldn't miss one game of cricket.
I don't even remember that.
You guys had a portable TV back then?
Oh, it was some strange portable thing. I don't know, but she was always, had this. And that was when Shane Warne looked very different to what he did.
I did love Shane Warne. I thought I was going to marry him one day. I probably would have been 14 maybe, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember. I was, younger, but it was a memorable time.
I used to walk around with zinc on my nose, matching whatever pattern he had on.
That's funny.
So random.
What was she like to you when you were younger? You said that, she was the golden-haired child. Was she always just getting away with everything?
Pretty much. I think I was blamed for everything that she did because she was so good at talking her way out of things, and I was just so slow. I think towards me, she was annoyed by me when I was younger because we were 4 years, younger. But then as she got older. I mean, I had a real love of playing video games, and I was real competitive, and Chez never was. But she often used to say to me, "Oh, you're going to be addicted to the pokies," and give me a really hard time because I was quite addicted to video games. But I think you were just jealous because a lot of the time your boyfriends would jump on and play video games with me.
Yeah, that is true.
Boyfriends, plural, lots of.
Oh, she didn't have lots, but she always had boys chasing her for sure. I remember Mum and Dad would leave to go off to work, and they'd be like, "Okay, Cheryl, you got to look after your younger sister." And the next minute, I don't know where Cheryl was, but there was a house full of people. It was just crazy. But yeah, look, I think I've got all fond memories. I think as I got older, we became a bit closer, and you became much more kinder, and you used to pick me up in your little red Suzuki Swift, and you'd take me to my parties and you'd buy some alcohol. So we loved that.
Well, what a great older sister I was.
I know.
I still remember.
But you certainly didn't check up on us after, that's for sure, when we were passed out probably in some paddock. Although, is Mum and Dad going to be listening to this?
Yep.
They can't work out how to download podcasts. I still remember when we were at South Mole Island or something, and we were staying in a little apartment thing, and Dad,
it was a
villa thing, and Dad decided that these boys he thought were going to come call around, after the parents went to bed.
He could see it coming.
Yeah, he could see it coming.
These little lingering eyes between the trees.
Whenever we went on holidays, Cheryl was always such a glamour. All the boys would just follow. They would just follow wherever we went. And I do remember that we had separate, Mum and Dad had their own villa, and we stayed in the same villa, so we must have got along a little bit. And I remember, one night there was like a group of them. I don't know why, because it's a family island, but I would think. But there was a group of boys, and I remember Dad just went ballistic, and he was yelling, "She's off limits!"
The guy knocked on the door, and Dad was hiding in the villa.
Yeah,
and then he answered the door, and he goes, "She's off limits. Piss off.
Rack off." Yeah.
Rack off.
I remember I was like, oh, my God. And I remember that Linda really stuck it to him. She's like, you can't talk like that to them. That is so embarrassing. Yeah.
I was so embarrassed. But now that I'm a mum, I was like, oh, God, I would have done that earlier. I would have told them to rack off earlier. But at the time, I was embarrassed.
Yes.
Linda, a classic for any family is a road trip. What were the road trips like when you were sitting next to Cheryl?
Oh, probably really annoying because she couldn't sit still.
That is true.
She couldn't sit still. She was always talking. I can't even really remember any memorable road trips. I just remember her really being embarrassing. Like I'd tell her something privately and she'd tell everyone in the whole car and I'd be like, Cheryl.
That's not cool. That's not nice.
That's rough. That really breaks the bond between sisters when you do that.
Yeah, that's not nice.
Yeah, I know. It was embarrassing. I'm like, can't you keep a secret? But I learnt to keep a few things close too. But no, I can't really remember any memorable road trip.
I remember Linda was dating this boy and she said, I don't want to answer the phone. I don't want to talk to him because I'm going to break it off with him, blah, blah, blah. And so I answered the phone as if I was Linda. I was like, hello. Hi.
Hey, Cheryl, you've got a great memory, but it didn't actually work out like that all the time. You would often, I did that in the end, but at the start, you would actually talk to my boyfriend to pretend to be me, and it would be like 15 minutes.
For 15 minutes?
Oh, my God. I just remember you came in and I was like, just like going to the bathroom just quickly, and I was on the phone to your boyfriend.
You were like on the phone to my boyfriend pretending to be me, and I'd be like, oh, my God, how embarrassing. But then it worked in my advantage because then I think I did get you to break up with someone. They're not listening now.
Pretending it was you?
Yes.
Oh, that's a great use of a sibling.
Yeah.
Oh, how terrible is that? But I put it down to I was young.
So you couldn't bring yourself to do it, so you got her to do it as you.
To pretend. I know, how terrible.
No, it's genius.
I know what, Cheryl, she would do anything. She didn't care. She had no shame. No shame.
Well, did you also say that was a piece of detail in that story that she was sitting on the toilet whilst being you to your boyfriend?
Yeah, I do remember.
Yeah, and that's when I was like, this has got to stop. Yeah, I'm like, we can't do this.
I do remember
because I was an introvert. I was very shy and quiet, and things like that would embarrass the hell out of me, but not Cheryl.
So if you're an introvert, shy and quiet, what's Cheryl?
Look, she's very extrovert, I would think. But she's creative, you know. The only thing I'd say, she was always late to everything as a child.
Yes,
I remember
she was.
You know, had a family reunion at 11, a.m. Got to be there, and it'd be like 5 to 11, and Cheryl still hasn't hopped in the shower and washed her hair, and she's just woken up. I don't know if she's changed for you, Grant, but she was always really late. I was always ready, 45 minutes before.
Since ADHD diagnosis, it changed dramatically, but she was always late. Always.
Now I'm early to places, but I thought that I was never late to school in the mornings, but maybe I'm wrong.
I think you had a very, very poor perception of time.
But
I don't know if you were, you made it there on time, like you probably said there, but I think you made it to school on time, but there was a lot of prepping from Mum probably that went into that.
Yeah. How has she changed since becoming an adult and, a mum?
God, this is like an intervention.
I know. I'm like, how has she changed?
This is your chance to offload.
I think she's become a little bit more mellow, and I think, you're not as hyperactive, I don't think. You're not the life of the party all the time, maybe. But I think, I don't know, she's always been the same. Like you've always been very generous and kind and caring. and really good with your time when you were like, that older teenager. But I think it's the same. Nothing's really changed, but you've just mellowed a little bit. Maybe not as hyperactive, maybe not sharing as much. Maybe you realise now not to share as much.
I'm a chronic oversharer.
Yeah. Yep.
I am a chronic.
Well, look, that's a symptom. At the time, I didn't realise with the ADHD, but now obviously, but that's, water under the bridge. We're all kids. I'm sure I did really annoying stuff too in a different way.
Oh, you did draw on my favourite My Child doll with Permanent Texture, and, I was really devastated.
Not the My Child doll.
I know. The one that you rub, like, the noses with them and they're yours forever.
Yeah. Did she ever?
I can't remember doing that, but I did see the aftermath of that, which is disappointing. I'm disappointing myself. They're worth a lot of money now.
I know. You were too.
Did you ever sabotage any of your stuff?
I think, did you short sheet my bed a few times? She sabotaged lots of things. I remember a basketball coach once. I think you put toothpaste in his undies.
Oh my God, I did.
In whose undies?
God, I did.
In her basketball coach's undies, and I think
How did you have access to your basketball coach's undies?
I don't know, but
no,
I do
like the suitcase. You had access to his room.
I do remember. I was the queen of pranks. Oh my God, that does sound so wrong. I remember putting.
No, it wasn't just Cheryl; it was everyone. But that does sound so wrong. But back in the day, things like that, it wasn't
funny.
a big deal. Now, but you short cheated like beds, and I'm trying to think what else.
I remember.
You probably did heaps.
I remember you had a sleepover and I put like a fake spider in one of your friend's sleeping bags.
Oh God.
Yeah, and and I just thought that would be funny, but I got into so much trouble. Yeah, because they were screaming.
You did a lot of stuff, but I can't remember because you did so much stuff. It's really hard to retain.
I wasn't as fun as I thought.
No.
Clearly, you've got some traumas from growing up with.
No.
Maybe I should apologise to my mum and
you're
dad
all in
too.
good fun because she's got a big heart too, doesn't she? We were just mentioning before, the charity work that she did during the drought, and she is very.
Yeah.
If there's someone genuinely in need, she's one of the first there.
I'll just shiv you first, and then
Absolutely,
and then love you afterwards.
Look, she's really generous. You've always been generous and helpful and kind and caring. Like I think. You helped me apply for my first uni, I think, because mum and dad had no idea what they were doing. And, so you've always gone out of your way to help, others. You've always had that. But you were a bit crazy growing up.
Bloody hell.
I'm not that bad
Jesus
anymore.
Christ.
I'm not that bad
That was
anymore.
good fun. Thank you so much, Linda, for sharing your
Thank
insight
you.
of growing up with her. We've got to move on because we've got to call Shane Warne next. And
that's a sad joke.
I don't know. I don't have a phone with that good a reception. That's good. That was a lot of laughs. Thank you. Thank you, Lenny.
No worries. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Cheers, Linda.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh my gosh. I think I might have been a bit more difficult than I actually thought. Looking back, I thought I was like a great sister, but I'm reading between the lines.
Impersonating her for 15 minutes to her boyfriend, and that is so
That's gold.
cruel.
I know,
That's genius.
And she came in and
that would have really messed with her though, because she's very proud of
she's very sensible
exactly, of people's opinion of her, and she's always doing the right thing. She's always proper, and you've just sabotaged her boyfriend relationship.
Oh my God. And I do remember because I was like, I remember this one boyfriend. I was like, because I don't know, I'm thinking about maybe dating other people, like just to get back to her.
God.
I'm like, that was really mean.
And just on the reptiles thing, what drew you to reptiles and snakes and lizards? What was so cool about them?
I
don't know if I know the right story.
I was so allergic to anything with hair. And I loved pets. So I couldn't have dogs. I couldn't have I just wanted a pet to love.
Her dad tells a different story though.
Oh, what's that?
Her dad, firstborn, dad loves her very much, doesn't want boys around, as we heard. And he's like, you know what? If she's got a snake, that'll scare some of them off.
Right,
So he thought if he could like channel her obsession with reptiles into owning, you know, a snake, that might keep the boys at bay for a little longer, for a few more years maybe. That's what
That's a good dad hack. I like
That
that.
is
Yeah.
a good dad
That's
hack.
what I thought too.
I wondered why he went like to so much extreme to get me, the snake.
Yeah, that's what he says these days.
But you know, when I was 2, I lived on a farm and I just picked up a big lizard. Like it was just sunning itself, and I picked it up and I called it Lenny the lizard. And
Did you put it in your basketball coach's undies?
no, it was a water dragon. And Dad said he'd never ever seen like such a big lizard be so calm, because it had a big red chest, and even when they let it go, it kept coming back to me, and I
Yeah.
just loved it. And
You are the animal whisperer.
I've got all these. Am I? I
Yeah.
don't know if animals listen to me. Even my kids don't listen to me.
Well, there was the time that the cow ran away, the bull ran away. He was listening to you. All right, we'll keep the fun going. All right, this is someone who knows you recently on a professional level. Okay?
Right.
So this is your manager, Lena. So let's give Lena a bit of a buzz. You guys are both equally as nuts.
Oh my God.
Hello, Lena speaking.
Hello, Lena speaking. It's Grant Craig Daniel Bartholomew III here. How are you?
I was expecting you to call and I forgot you were going to call. Sorry.
That's all good.
What a great
Sorry.
manager you are.
She's busy. She's busy trying to find me work.
I'm busy hustling to
Yeah.
find work. That's what I'm doing.
Of course. We've gone through a few people that have known Chez over the years and have shared their insights.
It's
you know,
a
best
horrendous
friend,
version of This Is Your Life.
sister we've had, and now
We need some redemption.
you're close to her on a professional level. So we thought it'd be great to chat to you about your thoughts on who is the real Cheryl Denya. What are your thoughts?
I
What
didn't
was
know
your
it was
first?
Cheryl. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You want me to tell you how I feel about Chezzi?
Yeah.
I think Chezzi is literal sunshine.
No, that's
That's
bloody
funny.
nice.
A lot
Literal
of
sunshine.
people use that term. You're right.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Look, with Chezzi, like we manage a lot of people. We get along with everybody, but Chezzi's kind of special, especially for me and Henry, my business partner. We adore Chezzi. We absolutely love Chezzi. Chezzi's one of the few people that actually says, "How are you?" and means it. You know,
Yeah.
Because
she's that kind of girl.
I genuinely like you. Lena and I'll call
I know,
Lena and I'll be like, hey, so blah, 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 blah. I've got to go. Bye. I don't know how annoying that gets for you, but just these
No, it's
random
actually
thoughts.
really good. No, we get into some really deep life stuff when we talk,
Yeah, we do. Actually.
don't we? We always kind of like figure out some really heavy stuff when we have chats. We could really figure out a lot of the world's problems, I reckon.
I reckon we could too.
I reckon we could.
She's very
But no, I adore
easy to get along with, even just on first impressions. You know what I mean? Like, she walks into the room, everyone feels comfortable. They all gravitate to her. And like, I've been with her when people have just unloaded the most personal, deep, either hilarious or painful stories to her. They just, well, for whatever reason, people can just share their deepest feelings with her so comfortably.
I would totally agree with that, and I think I know why. I reckon it's because when Chezzi presents herself to a situation, she gives all of herself, which is not something that many people do, especially if you have a little bit of, time in the spotlight. I reckon Chezzi just goes, here's all of me without pretension, and I think people really just feel safe in that space, and then it's like, oh, here's all my problems. Here's my life story. So
It's incredible.
I think it's a beautiful quality. It's weird talking about Chezzi when Chezzi's here.
It's so
listening.
weird.
No, she
I was
actually has
just-
died.
I'm-
She's gone to heaven, and this is her obituary. So
I'm sitting here going, I actually don't know what my face is supposed to look like, but I'm feeling like
it's awkward as shit, isn't it? This
It is as awkward as
when
shit.
you guys did it to me, it's the most. I
really
hate. It's the
weird.
only episode I've truly hated.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't
Because it's so
know.
nice.
No.
Like you only hear this. Well, you don't even hear it. Like people only say this stuff when people die, right?
Yeah.
Like you should be saying this when people are alive.
Good point.
Yeah,
know?
that is true.
Because you should be, you should tell people how you genuinely feel about them. I like to do that anyway, but when it comes to Chezzi, like absolutely adore you.
Oh, that's really
nice.
Adore you.
You are beautiful inside through to the outside.
She could be anything. Like she's such an adaptive chameleon of a personality that she throws herself into any situation so deeply and gives it 1,000%.
Even if I have no skill,
she'll still go 1,000% in.
Totally.
And she just has
because you're really open.
Limitless potential.
I completely agree. I feel like it's because you're so open, like people that kind of have that real openness and real, like a real heart for life, they take stuff on and they're like, yeah, I'll try it. What's it going to hurt? That's Chezzi.
Do you think it's because I have no shame? My sister said I have no shame.
Do you know what? I have met people that have no shame. I think you do have shame because I don't think you would ever put yourself in a situation that would make anybody feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference. So I still think you do have a little bit of that. I'm not going to make anyone feel weird in this situation. So you do consider that. And so, but you do also have the ability to go, I'm okay to laugh at myself.
Yeah. She has no fear of failure, I reckon, is the better way.
Amazing.
I'm pretty practiced at it.
There's so many times when I've called Chezzi and she's just fallen over or like, really weird.
That is so true.
And I was like, a lot of people would not even admit that. Like, I don't think I would admit that. I don't think I would fall over and go, oh, I just fell over. But you fall over, you embrace it, you laugh at it, and you share it. And it's like it just cuts out any of that uncomfortableness that you have in a conversation, And it's just like I get straight. It's like a direct line straight to Chezzi, to your heart.
She can make it wonderfully uncomfortable. She can make celebrating being uncomfortable really fun. Like she's good at doing that.
Right. I've only ever felt comfortable with Chezzi. I don't know what that's like. I'd love to know what that kind of Chezzi's like. Show me more of that, Chezzi.
Yeah, it's good. It's good fun.
Like when I, am eating a salad roll or something and I, squirt the salad juice all down my front and then I have to rock it all day. Is that what you mean?
Every day?
I'm just quite used to it now. Oh, that's lovely.
You're beautiful. You're beautiful, Chezzi. Like both of us, Henry and I both adore working with you and we love hanging out with you and, wish we could do more. Wish you were closer so we could just hang out all the time.
Be good fun, wouldn't it?
That would be good fun. Oh, but it must be very frustrating because poor Lena, she's like, she always says to me, oh, you know what, you'd be great for this role or you'd be great for that. And I always think, oh, yeah, but not now because I'm, I have to look after the kids or I always put everybody, first. And that must be very frustrating from a...
No, it's not frustrating. I think your time will, like when you're ready, you'll know exactly when that time is and then things will happen. As soon as you commit to saying, you know what, I'm ready for whatever happens next, you just had a baby, like, you got to give yourself some time to let that kind of, I don't know, just
settle in,
deal with it. Yeah, settle in. Yeah.
Stop spitting out children
now.
Maybe I could host like menopausal TV at 55. Be like,
you guys are like, you're not having any more kids, right? That's like more coming. I don't know. Like
I'm currently making one right now.
I would not be surprised.
I love my kids so much, but I'm too old for that now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we separated there's quite a few years between children, which means that, by the time they reach 20, we'll be about 70. So, yeah.
But, like if you've got 3, just keep going and have like 7.
No, shut enough
then
from
eventually
you.
It's like...
Okay, signal's breaking up. We're losing you.
Oh, I could not get...
I'm totally joking. Totally joking.
My body would fall apart. My body's still falling apart now, so that's
Yeah, no, it's hard. It's hard work. I know.
We'd need a nappy endorsement deal, that's for sure.
You could start your own company.
Oh, feels like we could. Oh, we're very lucky to have her in our lives, aren't we, Lena?
Yeah, I really am, Chezzi. Like, you've been there for me when a lot of people haven't been there for me, and it's like it really touches me. I do really love your friendship.
Oh,
God, am I getting a bit too gushy now?
No,
This is a bit,
this is
a
like
bit much.
So she manages the
Lovely.
manager. That's the kind of girl she is.
I don't manage the manager.
Emotionally manages the manager.
No.
No, you do care about people, and it really shows. Yeah, definitely shows.
Well, thanks for your insight.
But I have
Lena.
nothing. I have no negative things to say about Chezzi. Nothing.
Oh, I'm sure that
Nothing.
Grant's searching for it.
That's what her sister's for.
Yeah, thank God you went after my sister. Because she did remind me of a few things that I had forgotten about.
Yeah, you would have been a pain in the ass,
Yeah, I would
as
have
it
been
turns
a
out, I
pain in
reckon.
the
Yep.
ass. I know. I've left her with some real scars.
That's what you're supposed to do with family, right? Like, you're not supposed to be nice to them.
Yeah,
it's like,
well, that's right.
Yeah, you have to kind of prepare them for the world. That's your job.
That's very true. Oh,
Thanks for your time, Lena. Awesome.
Love
You're
you.
welcome, guys.
All the very
Love
best.
you too.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Lena.
Bye.
Wow, how does that all make you feel?
Really weird. Yeah, really weird. I don't know. I'm feeling like
Weird?
Yeah.
Weird.
Oh, just I feel like maybe I'm dead and I've dissociated from my body.
Well, you guys did it to me.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
know.
very strange experience. Yeah.
It is because I have just realised I'm not very good at people saying, really nice things about me. Like I find that quite uncomfortable because I normally bag the crap out of myself. So,
Is anything surprising you that people are saying?
no. No, I knew
Still
Lena
familiar.
would say really nice things because she, she does genuinely mean it, but also she's painting a nice picture so that people hire me.
She's a smart businesswoman.
Yeah. I found this
What's
the
that?
other day. So this was I don't know if you can see. This was my shirt that they gave me when I left Parliament House. I don't know if you can see that because it's got all text
If you're watching
all
us
over
on
it.
YouTube, here's
Yeah.
a picture up close to her face.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, so this paints a very good picture of what I was like at Parliament House, where they're all very serious.
In celebration of 2 remarkable years in New South Wales Parliament, 2001 to 2003, love from us all. So everyone's written all these. Have you got a couple of your favourite messages on there?
No, I only just found it the other day. It's a see you on TV, John Brogden.
Oh, wow. He was a senior politician.
Thanks for the fun and games.
John Howard.
I don't know. There's lots of people saying you are not hapless. Oh, that's right. Remember, I was interviewed, and then they said that I was a hapless staffer because I couldn't say anything during the interview.
Well, hang on.
I was
who said you
interviewed-
were hapless?
Like the journalist when they were writing about me because I had to be a bit vague when John Brogden overthrew Kerry Chikarovsky. Yeah, and I had to talk.
Well, you were the only person who put their head up.
Yeah. What's this? Dear Cheryl, congratulations for escaping this hellhole. We will miss your pretty little face and great St. Patrick Day cupcakes.
Oh, right. You're always bringing treats into work, weren't you?
Yeah. I'll miss your musk sticks.
God, you smelt like musk sticks. Oh, that was the first perfume you had when we met. Was basically like a musk smell, wasn't it?
It was a coconutty type one. Yeah. It's really weird reading back like some of these. I remember when you came into my world and now I can remember when you left it.
Well, that was
Be fab.
that wasn't very deep.
To the point.
I
yeah.
remember when you came and when you left, John.
Very nice.
Do you pull that shirt out often just to read the
I
messages?
just found it the other day. It's been hidden away in the shed and yeah, I literally just found
Thanks
it.
for being such a great friend. It's been an adventure. You're an inspiring person. Oh, this is all lovely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Should frame it.
Well, look forward to seeing you on television.
They all say it. Well, because I left to go and work on
See you on TV. They're all saying that. Oh, of course.
I
you-
left to,
Ah,
yeah.
right. That'll be why.
Because I actually left Parliament House and then went to work at Prime. So, yeah, I went back to Prime. I'd been at Prime for a little bit, and then I left to go back to Prime. So I worked at Prime for quite a number of years.
Do you enjoy working with her, mate?
I love working with Chezzi. She's very prepared. Always got things ready for the podcast. The things that I should probably be doing, Chezzi does.
I just take a complete back seat as well because she's got it all handled.
Yeah.
So when
I've got a few ideas, and then she comes up with everything. I'm like, oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we'll go with that. Perfect.
When we first walked into your little home studio that your dad made for you in your bedroom, and we recorded that first sort of podcast in there, what was your first impressions?
Oh, look, I think we need to even go like before that. So my first introduction to Chezzi was my mum saying that she had a good conversation with her at a shop in town. And it was actually a very deep and meaningful conversation about something that both Chezzi and I had in common in a workplace, you know, how to deal with certain people. And I remember Mum telling me that story and going, far out, I need to meet Chezzi. I need to meet these people. And then, one thing led to another, and we recorded a podcast, and I had this very wholesome vibe about you. And then we recorded episode 1, and things sort of went down the toilet then on the topics we spoke about. But
wholesome? Did you say that?
I know. I don't
wholesome.
think anyone's ever called me wholesome. My cheeks
very
are
wholesome,
hurting.
Shez. So wholesome. Just really like, and you know how they say like, oh, people can spill everything to you. Very true. Yeah, I've said so much random shit that I haven't told even my parents, and I've spilled it out to you. You're like a psychologist, a counselor, and a friend. And a work partner. You're a lot of things too.
Yeah,
a
psychologist that can spray vodka Red Bull 5 meters from between her teeth.
And they're the best kind, right?
With amazing accuracy.
I don't think anybody would come to me for proper.
Heaps of people do.
I mean, like if that was my job, if that was my actual job.
I think it's your gift. You know, well, that's
Helping
why
people
do come to you, and they reveal the most, deep and serious emotional stuff.
I like doing that, but I like doing it as a friend. I don't, I couldn't be employed.
But I also need help with spraying alcohol. So can you help me with that skill too?
I'm not very good at it.
Just don't wear a white shirt is my only advice.
I used to do that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to get into trouble a lot.
I used to tell you off for doing that. Yep.
I'm embarrassed. Oh, my God.
Fun times.
No, it's a pleasure working with you, Chezzi. Such a pleasure.
Oh, that's a bit nice. That's lovely.
And thanks for creating this podcast of which we are all having fun on. And because I know there's a lot of people who write to us all the time. And please don't stop doing that, because it does mean the world to us as we're banging this podcast out and sharing our deepest experiences and opinions and embarrassing stories. It's lovely to know that it's landing with you guys and you love it just as much. And Chezzi's the one who's doing all the work. So,
Oh, that's a bit. That's not true.
Well, you set it up and you've created it, and I know our producer over there, George, is doing a hell of a job putting it up on Instagram and YouTube, and his clips are sensational, his promos are great, and it's great having him on air because he's great talent. But
it is. We're very lucky.
This is your concept, so well done.
It's all true.
It's all true. Who have we got next?
Oh, is there more?
Well, you tell me.
Oh, there is. Oh, I forgot this one. Yeah, okay. All right. This should be fun.
Oh.
Yeah. Where are we going now?
I forgot about this. So I'd organised this. This is someone you worked with at Prime. Right. So this is someone who was there in the earliest of your TV career. And he's a cameraman. So he would have seen you in action, being a young, go-getting, hot-to-trot.
I was a terrible journo. Can I just say I was a terrible journo. I
was a terrible journo too. Don't feel bad.
Me too. I hated journalism.
I could never do the death knocks. I could never do any stories where somebody was crying. I'd be crying with them. Like I could never ask questions that would embarrass people. I was.
So you would never get a job on a current affair?
No, I would never. I worked for Today Tonight, remember, as a researcher, and I used to fight with them all the time. I'd be like, you can't do that.
Let's give Neil a buzz.
Neil, oh my God.
He's still a cameraman too, isn't he? So we're talking about what kind of period here with Neil?
Oh, God, I don't know.
2003?
I worked.
No, less.
I worked
2000.
at Prime twice, like in 2 different incarnations when I first left school and then...
Here we go. Just calling him now. Is that... Oh, sorry, mate. I had the fader down. G'day. It's
It's going really
Neil.
well.
It's Grant here, mate. How are you?
Good, thanks, Grant. How you doing?
Good, thank you. We've got Chezzi and George with us from our podcast.
Hey,
Hey
Neil.
guys, how you doing?
Oh, Neil, my good friend Neil from back in the day.
I know, it was back a long, long time ago.
I know Grant just asked me how long ago it was, and I was thinking, God, it was
Would be 2000? Would you?
1998.
I'm thinking
99?
2000, 2001 maybe?
Okay. all
Yeah,
right.
okay. So we're
So
talking.
when I was born.
Shut up, George.
Shush.
So we're talking Orange, Neil. Describe your role and what sort of interaction you had with Chez.
Oh, back in those days. In those days, I was actually worked in what was called our production department. So I went out and made commercials during the day, and then later in the afternoon, we were the ones that sat in the studio and pushed the buttons and made sure that the news actually went to air correctly at night. So Chezzi, I sort of had dealings with her as far as she'd come in and do news updates and that sort of thing. And as a journalist, she'd actually have to come down and produce a bulletin. So she'd sit up in the studio with us while the bulletin went to air and had to tell us what we were going to put to air and what was right and what was wrong. So,
Holy shit,
we had
that's
bit
a lot
to
of
do with that.
responsibility.
Yeah, my mum calls
Yeah,
it
there
right.
was, yeah.
my mum calls her Chaos by a nickname because she's a tornado of a personality. What was she like to work with?
Well, it's sort of funny. Like I said, I probably didn't work with her as closely as a lot of the other guys did. But what I used to do, it'd always be, you'd see how the different journalists would work with the cameraman, and you always got a good sense of what they were like by what footage we get at the end of the day. So they go out with the cameraman, and I just remember seeing shots of Chezzi with a cameraman when they'd be mucking around and somebody pretending to poke her ear while she was trying to do a piece to camera and this sort of thing. So it was pretty obvious that the guys all had fun when they were out on the road. But yeah, it was just...
I was never serious. You can say it
No,
now. I was a terrible journalist.
Yeah, you can say you're never serious, but it's funny, like you see some journos that come through and they're very, very serious all the time, and but they don't always know how to tell a story, or they're not always interested in the story. But some of the best journalists I've worked with are those that are really invested in what they do, but they have fun with what they do as well. And I don't think it's not a job that if you don't have fun with it, if you don't enjoy what you're doing and you don't enjoy telling stories, you're not going to be good at it. And that's one of the things I always remember about Chezzi, was that she was always having fun, but she was always good at what she did as well.
God.
And I still remember all that. And there's a lot of, I was actually thinking about it today, and I was thinking there's a lot of journalists I probably couldn't tell you names of, and the number of journalists that we've sort of worked with over the years. And a lot of them you don't remember, but some you remember. And the ones I always remember are those that were really passionate about what they did, but really not so much necessarily passionate about what they did, but passionate about telling stories and about telling stories about people. And Chezzi was one of those people.
Oh, that's bloody nice. I had about 16 farewells. Do you remember that? I kept I kept leaving and then coming back. Lots of
you
cakes.
did. It was sort of a bit like a bad smell. You just wouldn't go away, would you?
It was so random because I remember to get my first job there, I turned up and I just said, I'm coming for work experience, and I set up a desk and I made my own little name badge, and I remember like the news director, he's like, you're not staying after this. We're not employing you. And I was like, but if I just keep coming back and if I just keep working for free for 3 months and bring in lollies every day, maybe, just maybe, you might give me a job. I was that annoying.
That's pretty much the way it works around here anyway. So, we get interns that they come in, they do a bit of experience, and the whole idea is that you keep on coming back. until you know the system really well. And then what ends up happening is the boss says, oh, well, we need somebody in here because somebody's away sick or, somebody's going on holidays. We need somebody to fill in. They get the person that knows the system, that they know that they can just get in there and sit at the desk and do the job. So that's the best way of getting the job.
That's a nice way of saying she refused to leave, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
Yeah.
I do remember doing updates for you, and I do remember...
Because that's a big deal. Updates are, for a journo, if you get to sit on the news desk, the news desk is hallowed territory. Like, it's a famous bit of a TV institution. So as a journo, if you ever get the call up to do an update, it's a big deal. It's a big upstep in your career. And what was it like?
Oh, I remember Neil being very patient with me, and I would always run out of breath on the last sentence, and I'd be like, and my face would go really red, and he'd be like, okay, Chez, have a breath.
Oh, we just do it again, but I was used to that because we had so many journos that would take forever to do them. So that was not a problem. That was sort of like, that was just, yeah, okay. How much time have we got? We've got another 10 minutes before we go to air, so it's okay. You can do it one more time.
He was just very
It was either that or we'd have to do it after the news anyway. So I'm happy to let you keep on going to make sure that we got it done then so that we didn't have to come back and do it later.
And I used to be a prank star all the time, and like I'm just thinking now of all those times that I'd turn up and I'd have like a wig on to read the updates, and Neil would just be like, oh my God. I'm sure you were thinking, this is my life,
Well, the funny thing is that, like, I used to do our Christmas tape. So we used to do, at the end of the year, we'd have a reel just for everybody at work so that you'd have all the bloopers that the journos would do during the year. And we tried to do a few different things in it just to liven it up and make it a little bit different so it wasn't just that sort of thing. And I remember getting you on the news set at one stage because we had... what was it, not the 6 o'clock news or something? I got you to host the whole, basically the Christmas tape for the year one year. So I must have seen something that I thought you might have been pretty funny.
Yes, and I do remember for part of that, we had a news director who would read the news and was petrified of spiders. And so I sat at the front of the news desk to wait until he came in to like read the updates, and I was like trying so hard not to laugh, yeah, I was trying really hard. And then I threw a spider up in front of him. And
remember how high he jumped?
Yes. And I remember he sacked me.
He jumped as much as he did.
Yeah, he was so angry, and that was for part of that video. And I just thought, this is just the best work environment in my life. I remember I even put a little note up in the ceiling, like climbed up on my desk, and I wrote a note to myself. Mind you, that building's now been knocked down, so...
Hopefully there's a
found,
demolition worker who's found that note.
Yeah, I was just like, in this year you are working as a journalist at Prime TV, and they're the nicest, friends, and I loved coming to work every single day. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. It was an interesting time back then because we were sort of in a bit of a transition period, I suppose, because we'd sort of gone away from what was the old style of sort of regional TV where everything was done in-house, and we were sort of in that transition period where a lot of, I suppose, in the same way, a lot of people have lost jobs, but we were still in a big building, but we were only a few of us there, but we were still punching above our weight, I think, to get everything that we did done every day.
Mm.
I was pretty proud of what we used to do back then too.
Yeah, it was such a big deal. You felt like it was, changing people's lives.
It was very important. In a regional community, you're somewhat, isolated from the capital cities. You a lot of people are out on farms and they're just not connecting as much with other members of the community because they've got a rural lifestyle. And the news is a real centerpiece, of just keeping those that are on the land, those that are growing the food, for Australia, keeping them connected with what's happening in the world. It was I remember it being an absolute huge ritual in our farming families' lives, and the local news was so important. It was such a powerful institution locally. Like it was, people depended on it, didn't they?
Yeah, and it's still that way for some people. The problem is that the way the media, the landscape's changed is that there's literally not as many people that have that ritual of making sure they're inside to watch the news at 6 o'clock because they can get their news in other forms as well.
Yeah.
But there's still an awful lot of people that still rely on us, and I still laugh at it, the fact that we've just changed now from being Prime 7. They've actually changed us now to actually being 7. But I still have people that still call us mid-state television and country television, and people look at me strange when people say about Channel 8, but that used to be our call sign all those years ago. And people around here, they still use all that sort of language.
Yeah, generational, isn't it? Because I started my TV career in Prime Wagga, so we were the next Prime station over geographically, and it was always called RVN2. And that's what my grandparents called it until the day they died, even though I was working and doing, Grant Denyer, Prime Local News was my sign-off. But they couldn't, it was still RVN2 because that was the first ever call sign, and TV was a big deal.
Mm.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. It's funny, ours was the same. Ours here was CBN 8, and yet people, when you say Channel 8, they go, but you're on Channel 6. You go, that's what we used to be called Channel 8. But
that's so confusing.
Neil, was there a story that Chezzi did that really sticks out to you when you think back on her time there? You go, "Oh, that story was pretty impressive," or that was an interesting take on a situation.
Terrible stories. Well, they're always light-hearted stories. I know that.
To be honest, I mean, I used to the one thing about putting the news to air is that I used to go home after the news, and my wife would ask me what was on the news that night, and I wouldn't be able to tell her because honestly, when you're sitting in the studio and you're actually putting all those stories together, and you've got the newsreader reading, and you're concentrating on what they're saying and what's coming up next, I honestly would not. I finished a bulletin, I wouldn't be able to tell you what was on.
I remember not putting the right subtitles up. One night the supers, I put the wrong ones up.
So the wrong names on the wrong. When someone comes up, there's supposed to be their name and their title underneath.
Yeah, and I remember I was like, just stuff that up. And Neil's very
the silly thing back then is that the technology was so different that you still get mistakes now, but we had so many different types of mistakes that something like that we probably thought it was the end of the world when it happened.
Yeah.
But in all reality, it was not as bad as a lot of the other things that could have gone wrong.
You were so patient, though. I just remember thinking, oh, my God. And then I'd bring lollies in the next day just to try and smooth things over.
I think it depends on the person as to whether I was patient or not.
All right.
So why were you so patient with her then?
Well, there's probably the journalists that would sit down there and they get so cranky with themselves when they make a mistake that they throw the chair. Those people I wasn't really overly patient with. But no, with Chezzi, you could always tell she was trying hard and she was trying to get it right. And there was only ever little things like a good journalist. You can always tell that they generally get through it, but they don't necessarily get something wrong. But they just feel like they get something wrong, so you've got to do it again. And that's okay. Sometimes that gets really annoying with some journalists when they do it because you feel like by the time they're happy with it, it doesn't feel like it's any different than the first time they did it. But with Chezzi, you knew there was something you felt she wasn't happy with and she wanted to do it again. You knew that there was a reason for it and she wanted to do it again, so that was all fine.
I'm a pretty quick learner, but I was shit house at doing stand-ups because I just would get so distracted.
Well, stand-ups, for those who don't know, that's when the journalist in the middle of the story, the bit that pops up where their head's on camera and they deliver, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds worth of words.
Yeah, I was terrible at that.
Yeah, and that's
we didn't make it do that long. It gets too hard for a lot of them if you try to make it that long, so we try to make it shorter for them. No, that's when I remember actually, I think you were doing the stand-up with Charlie when he was trying to poke your finger in your ear because you weren't getting it right. Yeah.
Yep.
But no, it's funny. Like I don't remember a particular story, but the one thing I do remember in particular is the stuff once again for the Christmas tape was when you were talking to Charlie at his car out at the roadworks. I don't even know why that happened, but
I think I was trying to pretend
the
to
Christmas tape,
interview him. Yeah. I was very good with the Christmas tape. So
The Christmas tape doesn't go to air, Cheryl.
I know.
Christmas air is
I
just
know,
It's important part of our job, though.
It really was. I do remember.
Great for the office culture.
the Christmas tape
It was the
like,
best part of the year.
I was so honoured. Mum was like, what did you do today? I was like, I got asked to host the Christmas tape. And she's like, oh, you're more excited about that than doing like actual reading the news.
You go,
I was
yep.
like, yes.
That's the fun bit.
Oh.
Thanks for your time, mate.
Yeah, that was such a nice walk
That's
down
okay,
memory
guys.
lane. Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, I know, it's fun.
Yeah.
Great to hear your voice again, Neil.
Thanks, Neil.
Okay, you too, Grant.
All the
You too,
best.
Chezzi.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Cheers, Neil.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm happy with that.
Good days. Such good days. I do remember the Christmas parties. I mean, the Christmas tape was just,
Yeah.
I remember the first time I appeared on the Christmas tape when I was, same as you, I was just working for free in school holidays. And it was so, look, I'm on the screen. I'm actually on the screen, even though the rest of the world never saw it.
Yeah.
But you were just on the screen amongst other people whose job it was to be on screen.
Yeah, and Neil is like being really lovely. Like I was very difficult. I was very hyperactive. I was very distracted, and he's being very generous when he says I told great stories. I was not a great journalist. I was very good at interviews, but they would. I remember forever. Yes. How did you know that?
Because I'm guilty as well.
Yeah, so I would just be listening and asking more questions, and I'd just get really involved in the story, if it was a one-on-one, and should have probably made, some kind of big, long current affair.
But that was also, you wanted to be great. You wanted to be fantastic. So you're waiting for the best possible bit, whereas a lot of journos will just set up the camera, ask 3 questions, and they're gone.
Yeah.
And I wish I could have been that journo.
Yeah, same. Well,
because I wouldn't have to spend 4 hours going through the tape that we just
no, yes, that's what I would do. Yes.
So, Chezzi, you've done the producing thing, worked in politics.
Yeah.
You've been on TV.
Yeah.
Podcasting. What's the next big thing? Movies?
Menopausal movies.
You'd love to be in a movie. Acting. She wants to do some acting.
Do you know what?
That's always
Acting
been her
was
dream.
when I was young, I think I used to watch people a lot, and I now know that was because I was trying to work out how to be normal, I think. So I would watch them, I'd watch their mannerisms, and I'd then put myself in their shoes and work out, how it feels to be them. And so then
That's acting, yeah.
That's acting. And then I'd play a character, and I really loved that. So.
You should play the character of like a drunk
Sensible.
person who climbs the outside of buildings. I reckon you could nail that.
God.
Nail that
Could be
role.
a series. Just method acted as well. Just have a few drinks.
Spider Woman.
Oh, no, that makes me feel really sick
Shooting
now.
my vodka and Red Bull
Oh, my God.
between my teeth.
Oh, I don't want the kids to listen to this.
Oh, mate, look, no one has said a bad word about you, so you shouldn't be ashamed of any of your upbringing. Good fun is what it's been.
We love you, Chezzi.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
The real Chez. Please stand up.
Yes.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed this trip down memory lane.
I have. Thank you.
Thanks for being a part of it, Giorgio Armani III.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed this. It's been a beautiful experience, and I feel like I know absolutely everything about the one, the only, Cheryl Denya.
Thank you. I think the next song. Oh, now it sounds like I'm dying. I think the next song should be I Had Reptiles or something like that. That's your new.
I was a reptile girl living in a reptile world.
Sweet but psycho, I reckon.
Sweet. Okay. All right. There's your
Oh,
challenge.
she's a little bit psycho.
Because we're still getting comments from people saying that horse lips, they can't get the song out of their head. Like this one. Holy shit, I just listened to See Your Horse Lips podcast and I can't stop bloody laughing. I have tears and everything. George is a freaking legend. I love him. I may have nearly wet myself too. Love you guys. Love the
good
podcast.
feedback.
I was Sharon. We get those kinds of messages every day. So, George.
I told you I'm working on something, and I've got a lot of good stuff to work with now that I know more about you, Chezzi. Hotels,
Oh my God.
drinking.
Oh my God. Well, that's the world's longest podcast. We've now gone for an hour and a half. So,
We get an
thanks-
award for that or something?
Thanks for listening. Oh, no, let's not nominate
What's
this
the longest
episode
you've ever
for-
been able to pay attention to something? Well done.
I think I've just tuned out.
No, she's actually gone now.
No, I'm
We
joking.
might as well say goodbye because she's just banged out Australia. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time on It's All True.
Love you. Bye.
It's All True, the podcast with Grant and Chezzi Denya.
Bye bye. See you next time.